everyone, welcome to Saving Vegas, and today I'm going to get started on the cabinet restoration on my D9s. Both of these cabinets are pretty rough, corners dinged up. One of them actually has some pretty severe cracking in the front face. It appears that it had been dropped at some point in time. The only way I'm going to properly be able to refinish the cabinets on these is I'm going to have to pull the vinyl veneer off. When stripping the vinyl veneer off of these cabinets, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. A lot of people use clothes iron, I believe, and they said they take like a wet or damp towel, put it over top, and run iron across. Basically all it's doing, kind of the same thing I'm doing. You're there getting a little bit of moisture and heat, and I'm sure that pulls it off just fine. I found a heat gun works just fine, and it doesn't really take that long. And you're sure to get enough heat on it, but not too much. It should pull up really nice. Before I get started stripping the vinyl veneer off of the D9s, just want to show you behind me here, I have one of my Cerwin Vega 211s. These are probably the most trash cabinets I've seen yet, among other things. I do plan on getting back to this restoration. I have a few videos out there already on them. I rebuilt the crossovers. Next, I kind of want to get to the reconing of this guy and also replacing the diaphragm and the tweeter. At this time, I'm looking into possibly getting a sheet of oak plywood and using that to build the cabinets themselves instead of using the particle board and then covering it with a veneer. If I feel I'm way further ahead if I start with an oak plywood and then all the sides and everything will be done. This is a 7/8 strip, so it is a little bit larger than what I'm going to be using for the material, but it can be trimmed off after. So this is just a roll of stuff that I'm going to use for the front face here. But let's get to these. Okay, so as you see there, I was pulling the screws out of these, run into the problem that a lot of these screws are stripped out pretty bad. Some of them stripped out so where I can't take the screw right out. I'm trying to screw it out, it just spins in there, but it still grabs enough, it makes it hard to get this woofer out. That is another thing that I will be fixing up on these cabinets as well. Okay, so now I got all the drivers out of this cabinet. I will be pulling actually the speaker terminal in the rear because I'm actually going to be changing those. Alright, so I'm going to start stripping the vinyl veneer off of these guys. I'm actually going to put this one aside and put the other speaker back on. I already started stripping that one a little bit, just trying some different methods and seeing how difficult it was going to be. I started at the top and it came off really easy. The other one is the most damaged one, so that is the one I'm going to be showing you guys because it's got a large crack in the corner where it was dropped, and that one's going to involve the most work, so that's the one I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to get this one off the table and get my other one up on top here and continue stripping the vinyl veneer off of the other one. Okay, so this is kind of what I meant by the other one. I've showed it in other videos before. It's a large crack in the corner here. And if you look, somebody's tried to repair it and kind of glue it back together, and they didn't actually get it quite straight. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to clean that up and stiffen that up really well. Also, I got to tend to these. I have the grills for these. They're pretty rough. They need a little bit of work too. The majority of them is all there, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to reattach and fill in and fix those up and get them straight. Probably going to have to order new peg set for them for the covers to go on. These are going to be really difficult to remove and not wreck. Usually I just kind of end up getting a drill bit to drill those out. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get these pegs out without too much trouble. Drill bit should do the trick. I think that worked. Seen them moving. There, just like that. So I got it in there, started drilling, and I just kind of started moving it around. just enough for the drill bit to catch it and spun it right out. And I don't think I really did too much damage to that hole, so I might be able to salvage that for the new pegs when I put them in there. So I'm gonna get the other ones done, then I can start stripping. Okay, like I mentioned, I already started stripping the top of this. You guys can't really see that right now, but then now I'm gonna take this edge off and then probably start on the face. This one might be a little more difficult, just because there's holes everywhere in the cabinet here, and that is a spot where the vinyl veneer might wanna start tearing and maybe not coming off the cabinet. So we'll see how it goes. Not going too bad, but they do actually have that vinyl veneer is actually wrapped around on the inside of this groove that they've got cut all around the face. Not only is that making it a little more difficult to remove this part of the veneer, but I'm just thinking in the future for when I get the new veneer, when it comes in and I start putting it in, that's gonna be a little more on the difficult side to actually get that back in there. I don't wanna leave that edge here because that's gonna give it a perfect place for it to start peeling. I'd rather have it the exact way that they did it from the factory and wrapped around that edge and actually inside of that groove. So that's gonna make this a little more challenging, but I'm gonna keep working my way around and hopefully it's gonna work out for the better. Really nothing to that. That worked out pretty good and was fairly easy to remove. I didn't have to put a whole ton of heat to it really to get it off. So there was even some of it up here came off without even having heat put to it. I did use a knife and cut along here because this is all one piece. So they actually started the veneer wrap here and went all the way up the side, along the top, down this side, and along the bottom in one length, and then attached to the side. They had it cut longer and actually folded that veneer right into this groove, and that was pretty much the hardest part. And even then, it wasn't too bad. I just had to get my putty knife in there to get in there nicely to get it started at the corner, and then from there on, it peeled out very nicely. So I've got a lot more to do on this yet. I got to pull off the sides and the bottom, and I'm going to be removing the stand, all the baffling inside here, this or whatever you want to call it, insulation, sound deadening, whatever. I'm going to pull it all out because I'm going to be putting all new stuff in. I'm not going to reuse this. This is pretty ratty and coming apart. So yeah, I'm going to get this flipped on its side and start pulling more veneer. These are fairly large speakers, so that's a big surface area to pull all that vinyl off, and it was not that hard. It only took me, I don't know, 10 minutes to do this one side. So, I mean, realistically, less than an hour really to strip one of these speakers down. That's front, face, everything. Once you've got everything out and ready to strip, with the heat gun and a proper amount of heat and just taking your time, it's really just that easy. I'm gonna pull the base off of this now. I'm not gonna worry about stripping the vinyl off of the base because I mean, it's pretty simple to build and redo. So I'm just gonna throw that away instead of bother fixing that up. They're badly damaged. So once that's off, I can start on the other side. That has to come off, and I'm gonna start coming from the top, work my way down and around, and then that's it. There's really only the side and the bottom to do on these. The back, obviously, I'm not going to be stripping. It is actually a black vinyl veneer. Same thing on the back. I'm going to repaint probably the edges because you can kind of see some of the wood through the gaps in the particle board itself. So I want to make sure that's nice and cleaned up and fixed up. But of course, that's not till I get this thing fixed up, holes filled, corners fixed up, sanded down. So more to go. So there we go, just like that. All the veneer stripped off that one cabinet. Wasn't too big of a job. I gotta get going on the other one here, and then I got lots of work to do on these cabinets. Start fixing up corners and bracing them and making sure they're good to go before I get some new vinyl veneer put on these guys. I haven't quite made up my mind of what kind of vinyl veneer I'm going to use to finish these. Either I'm gonna do the gray face and black cabinet, or I'm gonna do an oak veneer that's close to the original. I got lots of work to do yet, so I got time to decide. Not too worried about it. But till next time, remember, Cerwin Vega, big or small, save them all.